Your air conditioner might not be losing the fight because it is too small. It might be losing because your attic is working against it. In the middle of summer, while your thermostat says the system is running, the space above your ceiling can climb past 130 or even 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that happens, your attic is no longer protecting your house. It is cooking it from above. The heat builds under the roof all day, pushes down through the ceiling, and keeps radiating into bedrooms and hallways long after the sun has gone down. That is why upstairs rooms often feel hottest at night, exactly when the outside air should finally be cooling off. Most people respond by lowering the thermostat, calling an HVAC technician, or thinking they need a bigger air conditioner. But older builders understood something modern homes often forgot. Before air conditioning, houses had to survive heat by design. The Amish understood this because they could not rely on electric cooling to fix bad construction. In their farmhouses, the attic was not treated like a sealed storage box. It was treated like a breathing buffer, a space that absorbed the punishment of the sun and then released that heat before it could damage the rooms below. That is the entire secret, not more machinery, airflow. Hot air rises, it always has, and when hot air has a high place to escape, it leaves the building and pulls cooler air in behind it. Engineers call this stack effect. Older builders simply designed around it. That is why old barns and farmhouses often had cupolas. Not the decorative kind placed on rooftops today, but functional wooden towers with louvered openings that allowed the hottest air to escape from the highest point of the structure. As that hot air left, cooler air was pulled in below through shaded windows, doors, vents, and lower openings. The house breathed, and because it breathed, it stayed cooler. Modern construction broke that system in pieces. Gable vents were painted shut, clogged with dust, blocked by insulation, or sealed by homeowners who were told that all air movement was bad. Attics were stuffed and wrapped without always preserving ventilation. And once mechanical cooling became normal, people stopped asking whether the house itself was still doing its job. That is how you end up with a home where the attic reaches 140 degrees, while the air conditioner struggles below it. But the first solution is often simple. Look at the vents you already have. Most homes built before the 1990s have gable vents near the peak of the attic, usually on the short sides of the house. From the outside, they look like small triangular or rectangular louvered openings. From inside the attic, you should be able to see daylight through them. If you cannot, you may have just found one of the reasons your home is overheating. Those vents may be clogged with dust, old paint, bird nests, damaged screens, or insulation that was blown into the wrong place. Clearing them can restore AIR flow that may have been missing for decades. And that alone can change how your attic behaves. Because the goal is not to cool the attic with a machine. The goal is to stop heat from getting trapped. The old Amish method went one step further. In some farmhouses, plain breathable fabric, often cotton muslin, was used near hot vents or high openings to soften radiant heat while still allowing airflow. The cloth was not packed tightly, and it was not used to block the vent. It acted more like a light filter, reducing harsh, radiant heat and dust while still letting air move. That distinction matters. The fabric alone does not cool a house. The airflow does. The cloth only helps when the attic can already breathe. That is why the basic setup is so simple. First, restore the vents. Make sure both sides of the attic have a clear path. Replace broken screens with clean metal mesh so insects and animals stay out. Then on the sun-exposed side, a piece of plain white, breathable cotton can be fastened inside the vent frame, leaving enough room for air to pass freely. If the cloth blocks the vent, it hurts the system. If it breathes, it helps the system. Then comes the part most people forget: night flushing. After sunset, when the outside air drops below the temperature inside, open lower shaded windows slightly. The cooler air enters from below, while the hot attic air escapes through the higher vents. By morning, the house has released much of the heat stored in its wood, walls, and attic space. That means your air conditioner starts the next day with less heat to fight. This was how older homes were meant to work. During the day, they resisted heat with shade, ventilation, and breathable attic spaces. At night, they released the heat. Modern homes often trap the heat all day, hold it all night, and then force an air conditioner to fight the same battle again tomorrow. That is expensive. A central air conditioner running hard can use thousands of watts. If a trapped attic forces it to run several extra hours per day during July and August, that can mean dozens of dollars each month in unnecessary electricity. Over years, that becomes thousands of dollars. Heat does not only raise your power bill, it shortens roof life. A dangerously hot attic can bake shingles from underneath, weaken materials, damage insulation, and create moisture problems when warm, trapped air meets cooler surfaces. So this is not just about comfort, it is about protecting the structure of the house. The Amish preserved these methods because they worked without creating dependence. A vent can be cleaned, a screen can be replaced, a piece of cotton can be swapped out, a cupola can last generations, but a sealed attic with a struggling air conditioner creates a cycle of bills, repairs, upgrades, and replacements. And that is why this old knowledge matters. Not because it is nostalgic, because it is practical. The better question is not why old homes lacked modern cooling. The better question is why modern homes abandoned passive cooling that already worked. Part of the answer is speed. Developers build fast. Mechanical cooling is easy to standardize. You build the same house again and again, then install a machine big enough to cover the mistakes. Part of the answer is profit. A home that stays comfortable through airflow does not create the same recurring revenue as one dependent on service calls, replacement parts, and high energy use. And part of the answer is memory. Once people grew up with AI air conditioning, they stopped asking where hot air should escape, where cool air should enter, and why the upstairs still feels warm after midnight. But physics never changed. Hot air still rises, moving air still removes heat and moisture, shade still matters, and a high vent still works like a chimney when the path below it is open. So before you spend money on a bigger air conditioner, look at the attic. Do it on a cool morning, not during peak afternoon heat, because attic temperatures can be dangerous. Bring a flashlight, check the gable vents, look for daylight, look for blocked soffits, clogged screens, insulation pushed into airflow paths, or vents sealed by a previous owner. Sometimes the house is not broken. Sometimes it has simply been muted, and once the airflow is restored, the attic can become what it was always supposed to be, a buffer between the sun and your living space, not a furnace sitting above your head. The Amish fixed this by building with airflow instead of fighting against it. They understood that comfort is not always created by adding machines. Sometimes it is created by removing the blockage, restoring the path, and letting the house do what it was designed to do. Your attic may be cooking your home right now. Not because the sun is too strong, not because your AIR conditioner is too weak, but because the heat has nowhere to go. And for a few dollars, a little time, and the willingness to look above your ceiling, you may find that the solution was never hidden very far away. It was just sealed, painted over, clogged, forgotten, and replaced by a monthly bill.